we're gonna start off with Marlborough. So this is one we just built earlier, for those that missed it. Okay, the camo is hilariously over the top, but they always tend to be, so that's fine. Also, where's my music? 1 second. Hello? Tool is good, but I want something else. There we go. That's a flat booty. That is a flat booty. You better believe high velocity pen shells can punch through this and citadel you potentially. Secondaries look like kind of miniature guns, or what was it? 133mm guns? A lot of AA guns, a lot of modern looking AA guns as well. We'll see if it lives up to that. The camo is pretty ugly. It is pretty ugly, not gonna lie. Okay, we can use this captain. He can be our test guy. We'll just spec this, so we get to see the conceal without fiddling with the numbers too much. Okay, equipment wise, very straightforward. Standard damage gun, standard heal, not a super heal. Interesting. Armor 32, 32, 32. So coated in 32, very Royal Navy-esque. Citadel armor. This is an exposed citadel. 381, that is holy shit. Okay, this is all citadel armor. Jesus. That is a lot of citadel armor. Holy shit. Good lord. Bro, okay. That's a lot of citadel to punch. And I mean, dive bombers will love this thing as well. For sure. Holy shit, that is a big citadel. Okay, so angling, highly important. Highly important. Is this in fact, if you compare it, similar looking, just much taller than KGV's. Much taller than KGV's citadel. So this is a huge citadel, absolutely huge. Let's see, 4x4, 25-second reload. That is very fast. 4.8 kHg with 24% is actually terrible. Especially the fire chance is terrible. That's almost cruiser levels of HE. Like in terms of fire chance. 4.8k isn't impressive either. Good lord. Compared to Lion, 7.248. It's half the fire chance of the Lion. Half the fire chance of the Lion. And the Alpha goes from 7.2 to 4.8. Is this, let's see. 757 initial velocity. MK6B. MK6B. Same shell velocity, but much worse. Much worse numbers. So it's these shells, but incredibly nerfed. I see this a lot. I see this a lot with wargaming. Like they're like, we're gonna make this battleship with huge amounts of guns, and then we're gonna nerf the reload, the dispersion, and the gun alpha, so it actually doesn't feel like it has a huge amount of guns. Like it's always like that. They kind of their thing. Well, that's interesting. AP, is it standard? Looks like a 7B. Is it Duke of York? Does it have improved pen angles? Does it have improved pen angles? I don't think so, right? Do we know? Let's see. I want to check. Let's see. RT fitting tool. Let's see. Ship comparison. Fitting tool. Test ship cruiser. Okay, premium cruiser. Shit, where is it? Oh shit, it's I'm an idiot. It's a battleship. Marlborough. Okay. Standard pen angles. Standard pen angles. Standard fuse. 184 HEDPM. 184 HEDPM. Fire per minute 237. 184 2.37. It does have more. Less chance of starting fires though, especially considering it's tier 10, so it's going to be much worse at starting fires. I mean, better fire chance, sure, or better fire DPM, but the fire chance is really low. Really. Oh, and the AP. Oh, yeah, the AP is much better. But so I guess you want to be shooting AP in it, but shooting 356 millimeter AP at tier 10 is, or at tier 9 is a bit questionable. Lion. Oh yeah, sorry, we need that. Lion is still junk, so it's still much worse. Lion is still much worse. It's uniquely junk in terms of damage output. Interesting. The problem is the dispersion. Wait, what was the sigma on it? What? Wait. Does it have battle cruiser dispersion? Does it have battle cruiser dispersion? I don't think so. No, 269, 100 and 269, 162. No, it doesn't. It's got. Wait, it's got standard battleship dispersion with 1.4 sigma. And it's got the shell velocity of the tier 7. It's got the shell velocity of the tier 7. So, oh no. And the HE pendant of the tier 7 as well. Okay, but that's not too much of an issue, but shit. That is really bad. That is really bad. Holy shit. That's actually terrible. Yikes. You can slot reload mod on it, which is an advantage. But that's a pretty oof. Secondaries are bad. Only 22mm pen. Wait, why do they only have 22mm pen? They don't get the quarter pen buff? Is that intentional? They don't get the quarter pen buff that the main guns do. And no super heal either. And no huge sit. So, wait, what's the concealment? 13.4. That's not that special. Maneuverability. That's not good either. That is literally significantly worse than Lion's. Lion has the same conceal, but handles better and has a super heal. And has much smaller citadel. Much smaller citadel. That's... I don't know. Like, okay, I've never played it, so I cannot speak from having played it. But just looking at the numbers here, this seems really rough. These are quad turrets as well, and the downside of quad turrets is that the turrets are extremely wide, which generally translates to much poorer firing angles. Like you can already see, if you try to turn this turret around, the turret is going to bump into this shit here. So the firing angle is going to be really bad. Like the firing angles are going to be really bad, which means in order to use your guns, you have to give a lot of broadside. And you have no armor and no, or you have a huge citadel, very little armor and no super heal. And the firing angles aren't fitting too? Interesting. Wait. Let's see. Are they? Let's check. Can we see sector here? 42. 42. Lion has notoriously bad firing angles, and it sits at 44. Holy shit. They are awful. They are awful. They are really awful. They are really awful. Ha, well. Yeah, I'm trying to look at the positive. I'm trying to look at like what the upside is here. Maybe it doesn't have like a lot of AA. 7.75%. That's not good. Medium range is good, but long range is terrible, and it's only 3.5 range, and stuff like Nakimov won't even enter that area, so. I don't want to be too negative about the ship I've never played, chat. I don't want to come across as too negative about the ship I've never played, but I'm literally trying to figure out a situation where I think this ship would shine. And I don't understand. Like, I don't know what this ship is supposed to be good at. The AA is poor. The armor is poor. The citadel is huge. The health doesn't stand out in any way. 76k with no super heal. That's with nothing special going for it. The gun angles are terrible. The Sigma is 1.4. The reload is good. It does reload. I mean, the HE DPM is good. But the problem is, of course, it's battleship dispersion with 1.4 Sigma. So the actual DPM that of the shells that you're going to be landing is probably going to be terrible. So shotgun burrow, right? Like, I could see at close range, the sheer weight of the armament could be interesting, but it's 356, so if you shoot AP, they can just angle. And you don't really want to brawl in this thing. The torpedo belt is 23, that's not good. The Citadel is huge. Once again, no heal, no special things. Huge superstructure. It's Royal Navy flat turrets, so these are really easy to break. Like, these are 303 million. These are hilariously easy to break. Are these even squishier than these? They're even squishier than Lion turrets. Like, these are hilariously squishy, these turrets. I mean, like, we know Jean Bart. People love breaking Jean Bart turrets. And Jean Bart turrets are 100mm thicker plating and slightly angled plating as well. These are like ridiculously squishy. It's 303, huge flat surface. I mean, most cruisers are going to be breaking these turrets. I don't know. I'm really struggling to see an upside here. I'm really struggling. I don't know. It just, I'm sorry, but this ship just looks junk. It looks really bad. Petra will destroy these turrets, yeah, easily. Easily. I mean, yeah, most, I think, Divine and shit at close range will break them easily as well. 303 flat surface. This, I don't know what to tell you. This ship just seems really, really bad so far. It might play different. I don't know, maybe, but I don't. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. I'm just not seeing it. You gotta understand, like, if a Petra pushes you in this thing, you can't even shoot the nose with AP. Because the vulnerable part of Petra nose is 25, and 356 literally only overmatch 24 millimeters. So even light cruisers will be able to go nose in on this thing. Like even a Seattle can go nose in and tank your shells. I don't think so. Skilled player easily can make 100k with the ship. Okay, that's not a very high, like that's not placing the bar very high. A skilled player getting 100,000 damage spamming HE in a battleship, that's I don't know I don't know how to break it to you, but like that's really not setting the bar very high. In fact, if the best players, if skilled players can only get 100,000 damage in this, then that's a tragedy. But yeah, no, I don't know. I don't see it. I don't see it. Maybe someone else will find something about it that I missed. Something about it that stands out. But for me, issues here are firing angles, accuracy, lack of both HE alpha and AP match, lack of health pool, lack of survivability in general, no special conceal, AA is terrible. I don't know. Maybe there's something there I missed, but I can't see it. Let's move on to the next ship. Move on to the next ship. Okay, we can look at the F Sherman. Okay, so what do we have? Damage con standard. Really strong American smoke. What is the maneuverability? It was also worse than Lions. The maneuverability wasn't good at all. 8% speed boost, standard, and defensive AA. Okay. None of these are changeable. 7.9k alpha torps. Yeah, we can look at those. Standard depth charges. Okay. Okay, we can look at this later. Nothing special here. The F Sherman. Very Cold War-esque. This thing fires sap, yes. That's literally the kind of the gimmick on it. Forrest Sherman. Interesting. Let's see, what is the description actually on? Wait, let's have our. Oops, yes. F. Sherman. A series of destroyers built after World War II and designed with the experience gained from the conflict in mind. The ship's armament was primarily aimed at fighting off aerial and underwater attacks. Okay. Fair enough. After World War II, yes. Let's see. Armor, anything special? Standard and 19. Not the 21 that the gearing gets, but 19 across the board. Oops, that was equipment. Oh yeah, we can't look at the other stats, can we? Guns. HE 1.8, SAP 2.7, 2.5 second reload, really fast traverse. So 3 gun SAP gunboat potential. AA mounts 5. That doesn't tell us a whole lot, does it? Because in World of Warships, AA mounts, like the value of AA mounts doesn't make any sense. They can change depending on their mood. 16.5k, that's gearing torps, 12.8 range, 33.9 with speed boost. This thing is pretty fast with flag and speed boost. Let's see. 33.9x 1.08x 1.05, and we are doing 38 and a half. Not that fast. What's the DPM on it? Does it? I mean, the reload seems pretty long, especially if it's American guns, so the shot arcs are going to be poor. What is the DPM on this thing? Oh. Okay, let's see. What is the DPM on this thing? Fitting tool. USA test ship. Stronger? Oh, it's not here yet. Really? Oh, they don't even have it here yet. Unfortunate. But that looks like really poor DPM actually. Around 200k. What's the SEP DPM? Wait, is that the SEP DPM? 200k. That seems really bad. That seems really bad, actually. And the torp tubes are... Yeah, it's 2 torp tubes per side. 2 plus 2. They look really rigid as well, so I don't think there's a whole lot of flexibility in the launching. These look incredibly rigid, in fact. I don't think they can move much at all. I think they're going to be quite rigid. They have 3 degrees of traverse. Jesus, yeah, that's what I thought. Very, very rigid torpedo tubes. Okay, that makes it... I mean, they're subject to change, but... that doesn't look very impressive. Single gun turrets, yeah, the dispersion might be a huge issue. We'll see. I mean, this one is very early, and things like reload is something that's very easy for them to change. They can literally just go into the they can just fiddle with the numbers as much as they want. But it's supposed to be an ASW ship, so obviously they're gonna... the things that they're probably gonna try to make stand out is the ASW damage and the AA values. Sevastopol, year of design 1940. A large artillery ship, Project 69I, with technical characteristics close to high-speed small battleships. The ship's main battery is represented by German-built 380mm guns. You know what's pretty extra humorous about this? This is the 6th Tier 10 cruiser that the Soviets get. They have Nevsky Petrov, of course, and then they have Stalingrad, Moskva, Smolensk, and now Sevastopol. Phil Radio, thank you for the 36. That gives them 6 Tier 10 cruisers, which is literally more than any other nation in the game. In fact, some nations, Germans, I think they have, what, 1? Hindenburg? And I think Italy has 2. UK has 3 with Gibraltar. Japan has 2, Yoshino and Yamaza. And the Navy that basically was an absolute meme now has the most. They even have more than the Americans. The Americans have 5, I think. Worcester, Des Moines, Salem, Puerto, Austin. That's 5, right? So even the American cruiser force at Tier 10 is less than the Soviet cruiser force. And the thing is why I think people kind of get annoyed by this is because, well, Soviet cruisers tend to kind of define the game. Soviet cruisers tend to kind of define the game, and that's really one of the main issues. People are like, oh, you're just hating it because it's Soviet? More the fact that I'm hating it because of the way Wargaming treats Soviet ships. I mean, Moskva was the OG ship. And I mean, we still see Moskva today if the other Soviet ships are banned. But after Moskva, we had what? When did Smolensk come? No, after Moskva, we had Stalingrad. And Stalingrad was basically meta-defining. It basically broke the game, especially in competitive. Ships were defined basically on how good do you play against Stalin. And we had Hindenspam, we had IFHE Henry spam, and now we had what, Goliaths and shit, and Venezias. Basically all the ships were added because of how well they can deal with Stalingrad. Like that was what defined the meta. Stalingrad as a whole. Stalingrad got nerfed after the whole. Well, the biggest Stalingrad nerf that came was the fire prevention change. Honestly, I don't know why they're nerfing it again. The fire prevention change was more than enough, but that was already 2 ships. And then we have Petro. Oh, sorry, before Petro we had Smolensk, which was so fundamentally broken that Wargaming had to remove it from the game. Like hilariously broken. And I mean, the numbers people were putting up. People who can't even play cruiser well were doing 300k damage in the Smolensk. Like that ship was hilariously broken. And then we had Petro that is so broken that it's basically universally banned everywhere. It's been nerfed 4 times now. It's still always banned from everything. And Nevsky, that is also another, well, this is a meta-breaking ship. Smolensk was kind of meta-breaking for randoms. And Nevsky, it's kind of a meta-defining ship as well because if Nevsky wasn't banned in any comp, we always see double Nevsky and a DD to smoke it up. And that's why people aren't so happy about a Soviet cruiser. It's not because, oh no, it's a Soviet fantasy ship. They're like I don't know how many fantasy ships there are in this game, but Soviet fantasy ships tend to completely change the game, the way the game is played. That's really what happens in the game. I mean, we look at the American cruisers. Des Moines, the original kind of meta-defining ship. We have Salem that kind of fills the same purpose. But then we have ships like Puerto Rico. No one plays that. Besides causing a shit show, no one cares about it. We have Austin. Literally, no one plays that either. What was the other one? They had one more. What was the other one? Shit. I forgot. I just mentioned it earlier. Now I forgot about it. American. Yoshi. American. Okay. Thank you, Hapshan. Oh yeah, Worcester. Worcester was popular until they nerfed the radar, and now you don't even see it anymore. Like Worcester had a brief time in the limelight and then was gone. So, like the difference between other cruisers and Soviet cruiser editions is so goddamn night and day. Yoshino was added, literally. Okay, who gives a shit? It's a free citadel to farm. Like no other cruisers in the game when they get added tend to change up this game as much as Soviet tier 10 cruisers. They are like, they always change the things, everything happens. And it's amusing because Sevastopol is actually one of the few ships that were actually laid down, like they had a hull and everything in place. So it has a lot of historical basis, but the problem is the way Wargaming tends to treat these tier 10 cruisers makes everyone really, really worried about what are they going to pull out the bag this time. What are they going to pull out of the bag this time? Maybe it will be a different copium. Maybe it won't be as bad as the last time's copium. (26-second reload, 36-second, 380mm guns, 62.6k health. Okay, a lot of AA. They get a lot of really good AA on this. I'm hoping the armor and survivability won't be so absurd on this one, because I don't want another Petro. Like Petro is such a terrible addition to the game. 19.1, 33.5 knots with speed. Isn't this kind of like a super cruiser? Okay, interesting. Fast reloading damage con. Only 3. You'll run Superintendent for 4th. Kuznetsov probably for 5th. Defensive AA. Interchangeable with Hydro. 20% speed boost. Uh-oh. Okay. 20% speed boost. So wait. This thing did what? 33.5. 33.5 x. So this thing can do 42 knots with speed flag and whenever the speed boost is active. 42.2 knots whenever it pops speed boost. Okay. So 42.2 knots with 3 8mm guns. Fair enough. The heal lasts a full minute. You have 6 of them. Actually, because you're going to spec Superintendent, you're going to have 7 of them. 187. 187 times 60. Let's see. 187. Was it exactly flat? 187. 187 times 60 is 11.2, and then we get 11.2x 1.2 because we're running the healing flag. So he heals for 13,500. 13,500, and you have 7 of them. What was it? 13, 464x7. So healing potential is 94,000. Plus, of course, potential Kuznetsov, because Kuznetsov, you need to include Kuznetsov, because Kuznetsov makes ships that are already kind of busted, it just breaks them. But even without Kuznetsov, we're talking 94,000, 95,000 healing potential. Interesting. Maybe it's squishy though. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe it's squishy, because it's supposed to be like a Kronstadt hull, which means the armor couldn't be that good. Okay, see. Okay, this is interesting. Here we go. Overmatchable nose. This is actually Kronstadt-esque. It's not exactly a big nose. It's not a whole lot of nose here. Deck armor 30? 30. Okay, this is already a lot better than Stalin ship. Or Petro ship. 30 at tier 10 is kind of farmable by almost everything. Montana crying in a corner. I'm sorry, who's Montana? I've never heard of him. 230 armor to 30 to 30. Okay, it's layered armor. 330 citadel. This is the citadel. This is just armor. This is the actual citadel. It's kind of waterline. Actually, slightly above waterline. We don't know if there's hidden internal platings. They often tend to have hidden internal platings on Russian ships. Well, not just on Russian ships, on a lot of ships, but the Russians are kind of famous for it. I wonder if there are any. We don't know. Bet there will be plates. Yeah, there tends to be quite a lot of hidden internal plates. Citadel deck armor, sorry, 90, followed by... Oh, this is the Citadel. Okay, it's got the Kronstadt weird Citadel. 90 here. Oops. Outside is 230. So that gives it 320 millimeters of Citadel plating in the center. That's a big black hole armor, though. A lot of shells are going to disappear into this. In fact, cruisers will probably struggle with the Citadel. If it's anything like Kronstadt, Kronstadt is very difficult to Citadel with cruisers, because this shit eats all the shells. On the other hand, here is the vulnerable part. It's 1-to-1 Kron. Okay, if it's 1-to-1 Kron copy pasta, based on the G3 model, then you can Citadel it through the nose. It's not a big nose, but you can absolutely do it. Just have to hit the tip. Interesting. I wonder what the other values on this ship is. Apparently it gets the German 380mm guns. You might recognize these from the Bismarck. They're standard like German 380s, but it gets them with a twist, which means I think it was improved pen angles and short fuse, aka basically German guns but better. And it's gonna be battle cruiser dispersion as well. Siegfried guns, yeah. I mean, I'm hoping this is gonna be a Soviet cruiser that isn't gonna kind of mess up the game. I'm hoping that's a thing. It would be like kind of the first time, but maybe it will be. Maybe it will please be. I'm kind of worried though, like a ship with... How much health did this thing have? A ship with 62.6k health. Thank you, Santos Obito, for the 61. A ship with 62.6k health, 94,000 healing potential, and the ability to do 42 knots. I feel like this thing is going to be very, very hard to kill off, and it's going to be able to disengage. It might, but maybe it won't be I don't think it'll be survivable nose in like Petro is, but it will actually require active play to be survivable, meaning you have to disengage with your speed and heal up. And that alone would already make it a more enjoyable experience to fight against than Petro. Because Petro just sits there and shrugs off all the damage. This thing will take damage, and maybe you can force it to disengage and heal and so forth, so... I'm hoping that it will be... I'm hoping that it will not be quite so game breaking as other Russian ships. That's my hope. You need to play it with a brain, it seems. Yeah, I'm hoping that's a thing, that it actually requires active... Because the problem with Petro is that it's passively tanky. It requires zero input from the player besides sitting still nose in to be tanky. This thing appears that it actually requires active play to be survivable, and that alone already makes it a much more intriguing concept than the Petro. Dido. 1940. Entered service. A relatively small cruiser designed to provide AA cover for squadrons and interact with destroyers. One of the first ships to carry dual-purpose guns as their main battery. Okay. 133s, 6-second reload, 23.6k health, that's not a lot. 8 cam torps, 40.1 range, okay. 32.3 knots. Decent speed, considering it has smoke. No hydro, only defensive. Short burst smokes. It makes me... I mean, the ship does look beautiful, but it makes me a bit sad that the Pan-Asian knockoff Dido we get for free, but then if we want the real Dido, we have to pay for it. But it does look good. Don't press armor scheme. Uh-oh. 3 torpedoes per side. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Why not? Oh. Oh shit. Okay. Holy shit. Okay. That's a lot of squish. That's a lot of squish. Holy moly. That is a lot of squish. Wait. Is this it? No. Okay, so this is the sit. This is just plating. So this box, this dumb box here, that's the citadel. That's not a lot of armor to punch through. Wait, really? Are there anything hidden? Any hidden platings? If there's no hidden platings, then we're talking 13 plus 25, which is literally no armor at all. That feels like... that is squish. Overmatchable top. Oh boy. 13 millimeters. Wait, 13 millimeters. That means technically if it's 13 here and 13 here, a lot of cruisers can overmatch into your citadel through the nose. Interesting. Yeah, that's very squishy. That's incredibly squishy. 13, they will have to remake it. That's what I'm thinking. 13 is really squishy. Like 203mm guns, they will overmatch. Like you should 203s. Like imagine Furutaka, overmatch and citadels. He overmatches every part except for these parts that he'll pen. That looks kind of scary. looks kind of scary. We'll see. This thing looks very squished though. 6-second reload on what, 10 guns? Could be interesting. It does have smoke. We'll see what the concealment values and so forth, what they eke out, but... it might be saved by no armor is best armor. It might, but it looked pretty thick. That's my worry, is that the ship is pretty thick. What else do we have? Oh, Canarias. The camo that I laughed at. Okay, let's see. Description. 1936, a heavy cruiser designed in Great Britain similar to the County-class ships, which had, above anything else, more powerful torpedo armament envisioned in the initial project. Okay, interesting. 15-second reload on 203s. AP, only by the looks of it. Oh, this thing gets the burst fire, right? You can shoot 2 bursts, and then you wait 40 seconds. Fair enough. 35.1k health. For cruiser tier 6, that's not too bad. Actually quite good. 14.6 km range, 33 knots. That's the burst fire gimmick. What do you get? You get 15% AP damage, much better dispersion, minus 25, and 100% armor pen. Oh boy. I think this ship is going to be entirely dependent on this one, because they give it so many strong values. Svani, thank you for the 39, and Lyndon, thank you for the 23. I think they are highly going to balance the ship based on this thing. And this worries me a bit, because you might end up with a situation where the ship in itself is pretty but then when the gimmick is active, it's a monster. So it's like, it's kind of like Austin, basically. Like, you pop reload booster, you're a god. Reload booster is on cooldown, you're a meme. Interesting. 3.8k alpha. 4km hydro, standard damage. So 8 guns. So you can launch 16 AP volleys at someone within a second. Or 16 AP shells, sorry, at someone with 100% extra pin, extra damage, and basically pinpoint dispersion. So you got 16 shells. You can, like, it's literally smash and drive away. Smash and drive away. Interesting. That is a smokestack and a half. Holy shit. Oh, what are small secondaries? Okay. $16mm plating. At tier 6, that's pretty okay. I mean, it's battleships will smash you, of course, but cruisers with AP won't do too much about you. Really thick deck armor, 38mm. Interesting. That bounces basically everything at the tier. Some superstructure, but a huge, huge broadside. A huge, gigantic broadside. Holy moly. Quite a thick ship as well. Okay, let's see. Let's get rid of, oops, get rid of these. What are the turret armor? 25. This is a big box. Oh, is it? Oh, that's interesting. It's kind of like Zhao armor. It's actually Zhao shaped armor. So, let's see. At the top, you punch through 25, and then you got angled 38. This is actually really well angled. This is going to be incredibly hard to Citadel if it hits here. In fact, I think it's highly unlikely. It's ought to bounce on basically everything. But if you punch through it right at the waterline, you can see this shit is actually just above the waterline. You see that? It's just above the waterline. So if you punch through right here, you get pretty easy Citadels. So you got to be perfectly on the waterline. Perfectly on the waterline and you get sits. If you go slightly above it, no way. You'll probably get full pens though, because the ship is so thick. Unless, wait, this thing goes to the waterline. Oh, never mind. Hold on. Hold on. This thing goes all the way below the waterline. Oh, it's got armor here as well. Never mind. Never mind. That's gonna be really hard to sit on. If you want to sit this thing, you have to catch it turning, I think. You have to catch it turning, or you just gotta... I think if you hit the waterline though, you can punch through this. It's so thin. I think you can just brute force through it, but most likely if you want to sit this thing, it's gonna be when it's turning. Cruisers will struggle hard to Citadel this thing. Interesting. Interesting. The first Spanish ship. And my god, the armor on it. Really letting everyone know that yes, it is in fact a Spanish ship. There's a hidden plate on the torp protection. Is there? Let's see. Let's check it out. No, yeah, 51. But that's not a lot. That is not a lot. If it turns, this is not a lot of armor to punch through. This is pretty thin. I don't think that hidden plate is going to do a whole lot. It just gives you a bit of extra durability there, but it's not a 51 is not a lot. This ship relies on bouncing shells, not tanking them. It needs to bounce it off the armor. If you try to tank them, it's just going to go straight through. Interesting. Looks kind of like a bathtub, but we'll see. We'll see. This is a ship you absolutely have to play, because that gimmick can either be really, really good or questionable. It's the numbers on it look good, but it might be that the default stats on the ship are shit to make up for the gimmick being really good. It is a tier 6 cruiser. Yep, that armor for a tier 6 cruiser is really strong. Can you please show the USNDD Sherman again? Just open the VOD. I say VOD, so you can go back and look at it. Check the AP pen. I wish I could. I don't think they are in the fitting tool yet. I do not think these ships are in the fitting tool yet. Yeah, I don't think they're there yet. There's no Spain to select. They are not checkable yet. Yeah, I read that it has really low penetration without the gimmick, so I'm worried that without the gimmick it's going to be really, really bad, and then when the gimmick is active it's going to be super strong, and that's kind of how it's going to be balanced. Like, it's Austin all over again. So all of this just to put up playing Marlborough? I can't play with it, I think. Yeah, sadly. Or I don't know, sadly. 1.4 Sigma battleship doesn't seem that impressive. Okay, what's this? Interesting. Let's look at this. What is this? This is penetration. Oh no. Oh no, that's terrible. Budyonni has 155s, and it's got significantly better AP pen. And Devonshire that has 203s as well. That is, oh my god, that's a gigantic difference. In fact, if I look at it, these curves feel like they almost correlate. But I don't know if like up until this point, this is roughly where your range ends. It feels like it's almost, they took this and cut it in half to make this. So the boosters basically must have, but I don't think you can still reach. At close range you get a good buff from about 230 to 460 up here. But then if we're looking at around here, let's say 10 kilometers, we're sitting at what, 200, and this is at, oh no, it actually, oh, the scale is a bit, the scale is actually not that accurate. No, it's gonna end up being pretty good. It goes from 125 to about 250. Wait, I'm looking at the wrong one. I'm an idiot. No, I'm not. This is actually the right one. Jesus. Yeah, you jump from about 100 and maybe not quite 125, but you'll jump way over 200. So you'll jump up here with the boost. So it's going to be really, really boost reliant. So you're worse than the Budyonni without the boost, and then you're better than the Devonshire with it. Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about that. It's, I think we're gonna have a classic example of a ship that is gimmick balanced instead of the other way around. A good example of this was the Dutch cruisers. They were entirely balanced around their gimmick, and then Wargaming nerfed the gimmick, and then the ships ended up being junk because they didn't buff the ships in any way afterwards. They were like, yeah, we nerfed the gimmick, and then we forgot about the ship.